Chapter 16. Summer. Spring rolled into summer. The war came closer and closer. Patrols increased. Tension rose. France fell. And Winston Churchill spoke his famous words, what General Weygand called, "The Battle of France is over. The Battle of Britain is about to begin." Suddenly they were on almost constant standby. The German bombers were hitting ships in the Channel and raiding the coastal radar stations. The bell would ring and scramble. Climbing up into formation, Danny would fall into position behind Johnny's K-marked Spitfire. He called her Kathleen. Wingtips steady against the morning sky, the green patchwork of England fell away below them. They were on high alert. Danny's stomach clenched. This is it. This is real war. The white cliffs of the coastline fell away starkly. Bandits at 3 o'clock. It was a raiding flight of Heinkels, menacing spots in the blue sky. Smoke lifting mushroom-like from the water below where two ships lay defenseless against the assault from above. They swung around, the roar of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engines a thing of joy in Danny's hands. Cold anticipation. Don't think of the men inside. Think of the men below and the plane as the enemy. They dropped down. Danny heard Kathleen's gun start to stutter. He had a bomber in his sight. Tracer cut through the air, smoke puffed from the Heinkel. It tried to break away, but Johnny was after it with the tenacity of a border collie. Another stuttering stream hit the Heinkel and she dropped, started spinning out of control in a smoke stream towards the water. There was another Heinkel going for a bomb run, and Danny took a deep breath, dropped into position. He steadied himself, blew out, pressed the gun triggers. The crosshairs shivered on and off his target. Steadied again, pressed again. He could see the impact, shot again. It was too close now, had to break up and away. 109s! 109s from the sun! Suddenly it was a deadly dance. The deadly fighters came from above, spitting bullets at them. Danny's wing jerked, but he kept control, rolled away sharply to the right. Almost got the yellow spinner of the 109 in his sight, but a Spitfire dove in between. He pulled up. It was a deadly whirlwind of planes spitting lead. He shot another burst at a 109, missed, but made it break off the tail of a Spitfire. Johnny screamed like a banshee in his ears. "I got one of the bastards!" One of the German fighters was in a straight dive down to the grey sea below. Danny briefly saw it hit the water, but it was gone, and he had another on his tail. Yellow spinner, stuttering lead. He veered and rolled, broke, felt the impact again, but his plane responded sweetly, felt undamaged. I'm hit! I'm hit! I'm jumping!" He didn't know who it was. The stricken Spitfire below was streaming a cloud of black smoke. A parachute flared open. Ahead there were still bombers, and he went after them instead of trying to climb back into the battle. He didn't meet the enemy fighters from below. He chased down a bomber, let loose a stream of gunfire into the engine. Fire and smoke burst from it. He stuck to it. The ventral gunner was returning fire. He felt, heard the shots strike. Fuel tanks. Was there leakage? Go down, damn it! He broke away, breathed, got it back in his sights, fired a long burst. Flames spat from the engine. It was losing altitude. He was losing fuel. Try for the other engine. He fired again, could hear his guns, feel his guns, hear the impact above the roar of his engine. The Heinkel was quickly losing power. Smoke started streaming. It got unsteady. They had to break upwards out of the smoke stream to see. Then parachutes flared and his bomber rolled down to the water, dropping wildly. One Heinkel destroyed. It felt like it wasn't his voice speaking. "Yellow leader, I'm running low. I'm pretty sure they put holes in my fuel tanks. I'm returning to base." "Roger, Yellow 4, received." As he broke for home, suddenly a flight of hurricanes screamed into the fight. The 109s must have been low on fuel too, because they too broke and fled for home. His fuel gauge was dropping much faster than it should. He pushed hard for home. He was within sight when the engine started coughing, died, coughed back into life, died again, stayed dead. He kept the plane steady, although she was dropping fast. There was enough open space. He could crash land her and have a chance of saving her. She was definitely empty. Not much chance of catching fire then. He brought her down as steadily as he could, hit the ground too hard, bounced, settled her then. The ground was bumpy, the hedge coming up too fast. He clenched his teeth, braced. They crashed through, then came to a shaky standstill. Everything seemed more or less intact. He scrambled out, dropped off the wing, stood bent over for a moment to catch his breath. He was still whole, and F seemed relatively unscathed. She would fly again. He took off his gloves and helmet. He heard planes coming in. 2 flew straight by, starting to drop for landing. 1 flew by, then circled back. It was Kathleen. She dropped down till Johnny was almost hedge-hopping. He lifted his hand at Johnny, showing he was all right. There was a grin and a middle finger flashed at him, and then Kathleen pulled up and away into the sky.